You're trapped by societal convention.
Alright guys, we're back with another episode of Laser Print, the unofficially official or officially unofficial Laser Time Community comic book podcast. At some point I need clarification on which one to use. Chris, if you're listening to this, I need you to just message me and tell me which one I am. At this point, I just don't know anymore, man. But looking at this week's books, we got a bit. Kicking off everything is Absolute Wonder Woman, as she should. This is written by Kelly Thompson with art by Aidan Sherman and colors by Jordi Belair. This is the very cliche but still wonderful to read. When two superheroes meet under poor circumstances, we brawl. We brawl, and then we make friends, and then Diana goes and gets her war outfit and goes to take on the rest of the Absolute Suicide Squad. And she also deploys her lasso, which we now know is the Troika, even though it looks like Trinity's black lasso. So, some stuff happens there. Artwork is nothing short of fantastic. As usual, Aidan Sherman is doing a fantastic job on this. We get a bit more on Zatanna in this issue as well, so if you're interested in finding out just how good Absolute Zatanna actually is, go check this out. It's definitely a high recommend. Okay, Green Lantern number 33, or Legacy issue 600. Now, we are going to go into this with the precipice that I am a huge Kyle Rayner fan, so I am going to be horribly biased. As always, guys, I try to be as transparent with you guys as I possibly can on books that are occurring more favorable with me than usual. This is the case with this book. This is split up into 4 books because this is Legacy issue 600. So we have I Love L.A. by Jeremy Adams, art by Zermenico, and colors by Romulo Fernando Jr. Brighter Day, The Origin of Hal Jordan, written by Jeremy Adams, pencils by Dan Jurgens, inks by Norm Ratman, color by Andrea Lucas. City of Angels, The Origin of Kyle Rayner. Writer is Jeremy Adams. Art is V. Ken Marion. And colors by Veronica Gandini. And Light in the Darkness by Ron Mars. Art by Darryl Banks. And colors Chris Sotomayor. So, in the opening book, we have Kyle Rayner coming back into the Earth to be the primary Green Lantern. Odyssey goes with him because she's just drawn to Earth, even though Kyle points out that she and Connor were starting to become a thing. And Wally just helps him find a place and move in. And Kyle goes to look and get a animator job at a art studio, which the director is being taken over by an alien parasite and using AI to form hard-like constructs. The parasite looks like a gold version of a miniature, I want to say locust, but maybe a baby parallax demon. I'm not too sure what it was. But Kyle fights. We establish our new status quo. I, for one, have been elated. Again, big Kyle Rayner fan bias. But we're also already establishing that some of his ancillary characters are going to be Wally West, his best friend, and it's always great to have the Flash and Green Lantern combo back. I really do looking forward to, if it happens, Connor Hawke coming in, because those 3 were all really good buddies, because they were like the next generation Justice League that just never really panned out. And I say that, but they were part of... No, they weren't, because Connor wasn't part of the Justice League, or he was part of the Justice League for a very brief amount of time when I want to say John was also there, but I may be wrong on that. Guys, let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Brighter Day, Hal Jordan. We're retconning Hal Jordan's origin story for some bizarre reason. I don't know why. Honestly didn't pay too much attention to this one just because I feel we don't need to retcon Hal Jordan. We just moved the sliding time scale forward on what wars or what jets he participated in testing, and we just need to do whatever with him. It's unimportant. This is not me being biased towards Kyle and just my flat out dislike of Hal Jordan. I don't understand why we're retconning Hal's origin. It makes no sense to me. We also retcon Kyle's origin, but we actually kind of unretcon and moved back to the original origin. They had originally retconned Kyle to always have been the chosen one, rather than just Ganthet showing up and going, "You'll do." We get back to that, but we also retcon in that the reason he was at the club is he was there and Alex broke up with him at the club, which is only the real big thing. To my knowledge and my remembering, because I read this like Wednesday, Thursday, and it's now Monday night. I guess that's fine. Kyle, just like, everyone knows Kyle's origin. He stumbles in the alley to get some air from a bad night at the club, and Ganthet just shows us like, "You'll do. Why not? Sure." And then we get our story from there. Great Light in the Darkness is written by Kyle's original writer and artist, Ron Mars and Darryl Banks. This happens kind of like as Kyle's trying to reform the Green Lantern Corps. It's just a story of that in-between era right before he reformats the Corps by defeating Parallax and using his ring to reignite the Central Power Battery and restore the Guardians, or just restore the Central Power Battery. It was fine. I enjoyed it. This was a really good issue for a number of reasons. First and foremost, this puts my favorite Green Lantern out in the forefront again after being sidelined for so long because so many writers for him had an absolute hard-on for Hal Jordan. They can go kick rocks. If Hal Jordan is your favorite, I apologize. I'm being very unfair, but I just do not like the character. I have never liked the character. I grew up with Kyle. I felt it very unfair that they just bootlegged him because of nostalgia, or booted him because of nostalgia. And I realize I am being unfair in this, but I just do not like Hal Jordan. Like, there's nothing you can do to convince me otherwise, because I have 30 years of Green Lantern sitting on my shelf from the time Kyle gets to the ring till now, and I can show you instances of why I do not like Hal. There is nothing wrong with the character inherently. He is written fine, but he has demonstrated time and time again, without the ring, he is not a functional human being. He has been given numerous outs and is just a complete and utter addict for the ring and has his whole personality based around his superhero persona. He has done spectacular things. I will never diminish the stuff that he did. I would not diminish the history he had prior to that. But I got introduced during Kyle's tenure and moved forward. And he just does not interest me as a character, and I just do not like that he was only brought out because of nostalgia. That is just me. So, again, if you are a Hal fan, I apologize for being rude about it, but I just do not like that man. Moving on. Superman number 36. This is written by Joshua Williamson, art by Dan Mora, colors by Alejandro Sanchez. And we are still in the reign of the Superboys because all the Superboys are stepping up to the forefront in all these books because Clark is gone post DC KO'd. The interesting thing about this issue is this is where Superboy Prime steps in to become the hero of Metropolis, because Superboy Prime wants to try and turn himself around and be a good guy. He does, however, turn himself around to be an instant thirst trap in the Watchtower because he is sitting there doing power calculations with Mr. Terrific with his shirt off, and almost all the single women of the Justice in the Watchtower are coming to watch him. And then once he finds an apartment, all the very attractive young single women in that apartment complex just immediately come out in droves. He goes to work at a comic book shop where he just is going to be sorting comics for a while, so we may establish an expanded cast for him as working at a comic shop, which is appropriate given what his actual identity is here. The Justice League and the Watchtower heroes are aware that they are, to him, comic book characters, and he knows everybody in the DC universe on a very personal and intimate level. And his Jiminy Cricket on his shoulder is Lois, trying to, keep him in check. And interestingly enough in this issue, the one time he starts going back to classic Prime The comic book kind of shifts into a meta art style where it's slowly deconstructing the art panel to where he just becomes rough sketches until he gets his mind together and calms himself down. He doesn't know what caused that. So I want to know if they're going to follow on that line, because that was just really, really interesting take of what they do to like kind of punish Superboy for stepping out of bounds. I do recommend this. I really do think this is a good time to jump into Superman. If you're a Superboy Prime fan, this is real fun because it's a great take on the character. I am personally a sucker for a villain's redemption. I am a huge Black Adam fan because of that particular story from 52. So I am looking forward to reading more of this. Next up we got Flash. Flash is now being written by Ryan North with art by Gavin Goudry and art by Andrena Lucas. And to start off, Flash, who is still Wally West, thank God, is Flash is going to take on TikTok challenges. I know you heard me correct. The plot of this is some guy out there is issuing TikTok challenges for people to do stupid stunts to which the Flash will save them. And if they can get a selfie with Flash, he will send them money. So in essence, this issue has Wally taking on TikTok challenges. We've gone full circle here, people. This is actually a really fun book, though, and the art is great. Ryan North captures Wally West perfectly. I can definitely say if you didn't want to get on the last one because it was too weird and cosmic-y a whole bunch of times, this seems like it's a classic return to form. Even one of Wally's classic villains comes in, and if you know Wally, Wally is very much like how we grew up with him in the Justice League Animated, to where even the villains respect him because he runs across Tarpe. Tarpe is like, yo, I got Weather Wizard's wand. I don't know how I got this. It's freaking everybody out. I want nothing to do with this. Can you take this from me? And Wally takes him from him, is like, oh, we fighting? Is like, nah, man, we're chill. I have no idea how I got this thing, and I just want to go back home if that's cool with you. And Wally's like, yeah, no harm, no foul. You weren't like the cause of this. We're good. They just go their separate ways. I love Wally West for that. I love it so much. Go get this. Go start reading this Flash. You will have a wonderful time. Moving on over to Marvel, so we all know what this means. More X-Men books. Because at this point, that's all we're going to be looking at in Marvel, because that's all there is to look at in Marvel, because Spider-Man's a huge piece of shit right now, with the exception of the Black Cat book. Go read the Black Cat book. But there's so many X-Men books because Marvel just floods the market at this point. Like, DC has some really quality stuff. Marvel just floods the market with a huge, huge amount of books. Like, oh my God. First off, we're looking at Generation X-23. This is the Laura Kinney Wolverine and Gabby book. We stumble upon where Laura was going to look for a friend that she thought she saw. The friend turned out to just die from her own chrono-mutant powers. And they stumble in a community where it's further X experimentations. And some of them are based around characters from Generation X. Some of them are based around from the new X-Men era that is like when it was Vulcan and Laura and what's his name? Just a couple of X-Men books that were split among different houses. They kind of did like the Harry Potter thing for a little bit in X-Men for the new school thing. So Mercury and Elixir was a part of that thing. So Laura like talks to them, and they're like, yeah, we're like further experimentations of you, and we're just training ourselves. And then we find out that their mutations are given to them, so therefore they're not stable in their own bodies, and they lose one of the members in that thing, and they think Laura and Gabby are the secret to stabilizing their bodies. Probably because they're clones of Wolverine, so that may have something to do with their blood and genetic healing process. They think may be stabilized. They may try to harvest them. I don't know. But this was a good read. I'm a big Laura Wolverine fan. I'm an even bigger Gabby fan. Like, if you ask me what my favorite Wolverine is, it's Gabby. Straight up. Next up, X-Men 27. This is written by Jim McKay, art by Netho Diaz, and inker by Sean Parsons. Guys, the X-Men are building in this book. This is Maxine Danger putting together her own team, and it's like someone with mutant powers, the low-level subliminal messaging whenever she speaks. Some trailer park guy who's like a master serial killer, and two idiots that swear to God up and down that they are two Skrull agents that Reed Richards gene-locked into human form. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you, this book sucked. This book was bad. This arc is just not good. This goes beyond like the Jed McKay thing that I usually talk about. Like, this was just a bad issue. Like, this was just not good. Do not read this. Do not get this. Honestly, wait till the arc is over. Wait until we move on to whatever this Danger Room arc is, and wait then. Like, it is just not good. Stuff that is good. Inglorious X-Force. This is written by Tim Seeley with art by Michael St. Maria and colors by Romalo Fernando Jr. So, to catch everybody back up, Inglorious X-Force is Cable time travel back into the past and has reassembled X-Force because somebody in X-Force has assassinated the first mutant president, unsurprisingly Kamala Khan. And he is assembling the force that are likely suspects that have murdered Kamala in the future. So we have Wolverine, Boom Boom, and Archangel. And this week's issue was Boom Boom. Boom Boom, if you don't know, has been a part of X-Force since its inception. She was originally part of the New Mutants. A lot of you are probably more familiar with Boom Boom when she was in X-Men Evolution as a primary character when she stayed with the with the Brotherhood dorm. That was 90s Boom Boom. Boom Boom is somewhat a little bit more mature, but still likes to make poor life choices. She has a job in a demolition company, which saves them a bunch of money. She enjoys her job. She enjoys her lifestyle. She is a very carefree woman, which we do not kink shame. Tabby is old enough to make her own life choices, and she loves her life choices, for the most part. And this time she looks at life as while being on a mission and makes some life choices in this issue that she may or may not agree with. But Cable can rule her out. I will say the artwork is fantastic. I am enjoying this version of X-Force. This is probably one of my more favorite iterations outside of the original X-Force. So definitely go give this a look. This is one of the better X-books. Psylocke Ninja number 3. This takes place after Psylocke Ninja 2, obviously. But it also runs in between X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 256 through 258. So, like, in that arc is where this is happening. So, Psylocke is currently still in Quanten's body, because this is the 90s. This happens, like, immediately after the end of the Australian X-Men arc, and they go through Siege Perilous. So, Quanten is still under the control of that rogue hand group, and she has captured Wolverine, and she's trying to psychically enslave Wolverine to bring him over to the hand side. But we're getting a backstory of her, Wolverine, and Jubilee having some mild adventures in Madripoor. Meanwhile, also Elektra's there and kind of haunting Psylocke, kind of psychically, but kind of not. It's kind of weird right now, because, like, Elektra was weird in the 90s, guys, if you don't know. Coming Back from the Dead was not all it was crapped up to be, and, like, all straightforward like it is now. Like, there was a fair amount of mysticism back in the day when Elektra came back. But this is written by Tim Seeley, art by Nico Leone, art by Dono Sanchez Almera. This is still a pretty solid book. This is a bit on the lower scale for me, but I'm still enjoying my time with it. Art's pretty solid. It has some nice 90s style art, but still very bright and vibrant like it is drawn today. I would still say go give this a look, but I mean, this is one of those, you don't have to rush out and buy it, but still go give it a look. We do look at Rogue, number 3. This is written by Erica Sanchez, art by Luigi Zagaria, and colors by Espen Gundergent. We do get some answers on what happened with Rogue. Rogue goes to Constrictor of all people because he was there during Project Pegasus. Touches him and gains his memories. Apparently, Rogue was the one that did this to this one dude who she's having the nightmares over. And we do meet up with him a little bit later in couples therapy. But the primary focus is on Rogue. So what happened is when the Brotherhood went to go attack Project Pegasus, Sabretooth got a little bit out of hand. And Rogue used her powers at this point to drain Sabretooth to knock him out. But at that point, Rogue was early 80s Rogue. So she had zero control over her powers once she touched somebody. So she essentially became Sabretooth and started wrecking house. So now Rogue knows what's going on. She also deals with Constrictor, which is just kind of a nothing burger, but it's still funny to see him try to put up a fight. It really is. But we do get our answers, and the issue moves forward. I would say go pick this up. Again, this is kind of like the Psylocke book. I do recommend this, but this is not something you have to run out and get. This is not like a Magic issue or the Kyle Rayner issue. I say it's still a fun read. Go grab it, but do it at your own pace. New Avengers number 10. This is written by Sam Humphries, art by Ton Lima, art by Rain Bernardo. This is a Thunderbolts book. I don't care what the title says. This is a Thunderbolts book. This is also the finale for this arc. We learn who the woman from the other side is. We learn who the mysterious shadow boss is who's making homunculi clones of the Illuminati is. It's Helmut Zemo, 1960 or World War II Zemo. So he can make a perfect clone of himself. It doesn't work. And thus the issue resolves itself because everybody takes out their counterparts. And then when Steve and Tony show up, they're like, we're done being Avengers. But if we need a What Works Avengers team, we're going to reform, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. Which just tells me this is a Thunderbolts book. Because the Thunderbolts are sometimes willing to do the things the Avengers won't, depending on who's on the team. This was a good book. This was a good Thunderbolts book. I think this is the only reason why I got New Avengers, because it had the brand synergy with the Thunderbolts movie at the time. I still dig this. I think this is going to read much better as a trade. When I picked this up, this is going in my Thunderbolts collection. I'm saying a lot. It's been a day. I would say go grab this if you're interested, but you can also just trade wait on this to just get the whole story at once. I do think this is going to read better as a trade, but still fun book. Predator Bloodshed number 2. This is written by Jordan Morris. Art by Riari Coleman and Roland Bashi, and art by D. Kanefi. The corporation running the Totally Not Dead or Alive tournament has taken notice of the Predator and is sending their goons to tame the Predator so they can use him as a tournament boss, so to speak, in future events. Naturally, the Predator starts going on a killing spree, and the fighters are also caught in the crossfire, so the issue ends with the fighters and the Predator taking on the Totally Not Dead or Alive goons corporation. The book is fine. This is an interesting tale. You get a more in-depth look at some of the fighters in this one. Predator's killing some goons. But, yeah. Go pick this up at your leisure. It's okay. It's not a bad book. It's an interesting thing, I'll tell you that much. I did not expect them to put Predator in a Dead or Alive tournament. We did already saw him what he's like in a Mortal Kombat tournament, but, it's okay. Ghost Pepper, this is number 9. This is written by Ludo Lullaby, written, drawn, and created and lettered by Ludo Lullaby, with colors by Andreno Lucas. We're going into the final showdown between the government versus Ash. Ash has sparked the rebellion of all the natives as they slowly form against the robot, the mechanized government, and those that betrayed Ash in government seats are like, well, shit. We designed these things to go up against Ash, but they have numbers on their side. what do? And then we see who the real big bad of the whole storyline is in the finale. I really do like this book, guys. Go get this book. It's so... Also, I'm wanting you guys to go get this book to go support an independent artist. So, this has just been a fantastic book all the way through. Art's been fantastic. Creative story. I never expected this to, like, a cybernetic, post-apocalyptic cyberpunk to start out of a simple food truck. But here we are. Go get this and read this. It's so much fun. The art is so good. It's such an interesting and original story. I can't praise this enough. And then Book of the Night is, surprisingly, we're going back to DC Marvel because it is Superman and Spider-Man. It is a Marvel DC crossover. This is written by Mark Waid and art by Jorge Jimenez with colors by Tumu Mori. And then we got like a whole bunch of other stuff, and I forgot to pull that up. Give me 1 second. But we do have some good stories. We have Batman and we have Superboy teaming up, like classic Superboy, teaming up with... who was it in Marvel? It's not Captain America off the top of my head. We will get there in a moment. We do have a really nice story between Pa Kent and Uncle Ben. The Punisher and Power Girl meet, and it's not what you think. Batman Beyond meets Spider-Man 2099, but also Superboy Prime chills out with Black Suit Spider-Man. And gotta get that page pulled up. Sorry guys, I think I just forgot to put that out. There it is. Lois Lane and Mary Jane, World's Finest, is written by Tom King, art by Jim Lee, and inkers by Scott Williams, and colors by Alex Sinclair. It's just the wives, because at this point, this is like a Spider-Man married to Mary Jane. It's just the wives chilling out, getting into some trouble and being saved by the husbands. Superboy Prime and Amazing Spider-Man. This is Black Suit Spider-Man. This is written by Christopher Priest with art by Daniel Sampere. Again, one of the 3 top artists in my opinion right now. And Alejandro Sanchez doing colors. Superboy, Time Displaced Clark Kent. And Spider-Man 2099 with a special guest appearance by Batman Beyond. Is written by and art by Sean Murphy with colors by Simon Go. Jimmy Olsen and Carnage. Jimmy Olsen does not live. This is written by Matt Fraction with art by Steve Lieber and color by Nathan Fairburn. Jonathan Kent and Ben Parker. This is written by Jeff Lemire with art by Rafa Sandoval and colors by Ulysses Areola. That was really, really good and really touching. That is just some really quality storytelling between Jonathan Kent and Ben Parker. We get a rivalry between the Daily Planet and the Daily Bugle on some superhero bias talk. This is written by Greg Rucka, art by Nicholas Scott, and Marco Maiolo is doing the colors. And then Power Girl Meets the Punisher is written by Gail Simone with art by Beline Ortega and colors by Jordi Belair. I'm actually going to spoil the story on this one. So, Power Girl passes Frank in the street on her way to a blind date. We learn the blind date is, unfortunately, Paul. Because, say it together with me, fuck Paul Rabin. He is one of the problems we are not reading Spider-Man. Not because of the whole MJ thing, just because he's a poorly written insert character and he's just not good. So he chooses a bar, and I think it's the bar with no name somehow. I don't know how they let Paul in. But every person under the sun is there. Every Spider-Man villain or low-level Marvel villain is there to pick a bone with Paul. I don't know why. I'm okay with it. Power Girl and Frank stop it, and then Frank and Power Girl hit it off, surprisingly. And it's because they trauma bond. And then Power Girl's like, you want to go do something private? And Frank's like, well, I'm up for food if you're hungry. And Power Girl's like, well, I know a great place in Mongolia. And Frank's like, cool. So they go to Mongolia. Power Girl just carries Frank off into the sunset to Mongolia. And Frank's World Journal is like, I will not mention this, how I got to Mongolia, but she was a nice time out. Or something to that degree. That was a lot of fun. Guys, I will say definitely go get this book. This is Book of the Week. Aside from the Green Lantern book. But my bias is going to be the Green Lantern book. This is Book of the Week, and I need you guys to go pick this up because this is showing that we want more Marvel and DC crossovers. A lot of these were really good. Like, they were all really, really good, no matter how long or how short the storyline is. These were all quality stories with fantastic art, even if Paul was there. I can't not recommend this enough. I mean, the only downside was Paul was there, but now I'm just sounding like a broken record. But yeah, Book of the Week is the Spider-Man team up. Let me go check the Facebook real quick. We're not switching over. We're going to groups. For some reason, Facebook keeps shutting down. We don't know why. My groups. Because I got to see if anybody answered Question of the Week. Question of the week was, do you think Jonathan Kent got a fair shake during his comic book run? Honestly, I think yes and no. I think he was slotted in to do really good things, and then after All In happened, he just kind of got pushed the wayside, and a lot of us just didn't give older Jonathan Kent a fair shake because he replaced young John Kent, which a lot of us love and adored. There we go. So, John Waugh, as always, thank you for watching and thank you for always answering, my dude. Says, I am both a fan of kid and adult Kent, but it seems like they forgot about John Kent once All In started. But as I said, it's mostly because there are too many super characters out there right now. And I kind of see that as true. Like, we had the whole Superman family. We had Connor Kent, John Kent, Kara, and then Kara. We had Supergirl going by Karen Page again, I think, or Kara Page. We had Kenan Kong come back, who was the Chinese Superman. We had Clark. We had Steel. Just the whole Superman family was there. And plus we had the two Superman orphans that are now the new children of the Warworld twins, who I forgot their names, but they're still there technically. So I guess Lois is raising 3 kids. And now we got young John Kent back. I mean, it is a shame what happened to John Kent because he had really good stories going on with Damian Wayne and Super Sons, and he was just a really fun, well-done character, and that was honestly some of the best time to read Superman was when he was a helicopter dad to John. And then they brought aged John up so they can, like, do stuff with him, and, you know, I applaud him being what they did with John. I think it was fun and interesting, but I also think it was very unfair because, like, we didn't really get to know older John, and then they tried to hard shift him to be, his new abilities are going to set him apart from Superman by giving him the electric powers, which was kind of like a Super Saiyan form for him. And then they backed off that, and now John is Tomorrow Man. I just don't think they give him a real fair shake. But, new question of the week, inspired by Book of the Week. What are some Marvel DC team-ups that you want to see? Because we get quite a bit, and there's quite a few more characters out and about running around now. What DC Marvel characters do you want to see team up? And guys, that is it for us tonight. As always, I want to thank Laser Time for allowing me to post these on the group and for letting me do this for them. I mean, not officially in any way, shape, or form, mind you, but letting me post this and be a part of the Laser Time community. I always want to say thank you to Chris and thank you to TL. And to Diana and to everybody else involved in all the Laser Time family, that they're okay with me doing this. And go support them via the Patreon. And everybody else have a good night, and we will see you guys next Monday. Later.
Just once, couldn't your attitude reflect the gravity of the situation?